So we're just going to keep going here. So Bobbie, Patrick had a question on Facebook. He had said, "What's the best strategy to get a one-track minded general manager to open up and try new ideas and processes?"
Well, that's an excellent question because it's different for everybody. And I know why Patrick asked this question. But what really happens is you have to create buy-in with somebody. When I said that, I really mean that people have to feel like something is not only their idea, but that it's solving a problem they have. Too often, especially with a general manager, they've tried things. They say things like, I've tried that, it didn't work, or I guess I'm not sure why we're not still doing that, or I can't get somebody to do it. And the truth is, people just want a solution to a problem that people will actually follow through with and do and get a result from. And so when I work with general managers on creating buy-in, it's not just for them, it's for their team. It's understanding the motivation and the way that people think by behavior so that you can solve their actual problem instead of somebody else's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. The I'm just going through these as we're coming to we've had some
Yeah.
technical difficulty, folks, and for the people that are staying with us, thank you so much. We're rocking through it. So I am going to ask, here's another one that was asked by Andrea. Says, "I'm interested in hearing Bobbie's thoughts on what the right time is to move out of a dealership." Oh, no, I already asked that one. I
That's
asked
the
two
one, yeah.
questions. Okay, so here's the last one. And that I pasted that one twice. Here's the last question I've got for you. Why do you believe, you, Bobbie Herron, believe that leaders require staff members to attend events for like self improvement, product training, other information? Why do you believe that the people that are in, and I don't want to say leaders, because in my mind, people that are leaders are not participating in this. But
Right.
why do you believe people that are in a leadership role, that have a leadership title, are having their staff attend events and they are not immersed in those areas themselves?
So I think it's a couple reasons, but here's the main one. We have a tendency as a society, any industry, but specifically it happens a lot in automotive, to think that raising our hand and asking for assistance or training on something makes us weak or vulnerable. And that happens, especially in our industry, because we say things like that. People come to a desk and they ask a question. We create a joke about it. Oh, you don't know that? Or they come up and they, hey, how do you do this? What does it matter? I don't know. We're raised in an industry where people think that actually saying, I want to learn and understand means that they are weak. The truth is, you are weak when you do not raise your hand and say, I don't know. And leaders, not even leaders, bosses, owners, managers, employees who are not willing to invest in their own success or to become stronger in an area, do it because either they feel like it makes them weak or they think they're better at it than they are. And it's not easy to admit fault, right? It's why when somebody comes in to buy a car at the dealership and we work the deal and then they leave, we say things like they're unrealistic. That's not apples to apples. No, the
Right.
truth is you failed. You're not going to deliver 100% of the cars, but the truth is you failed, and failure is something that is very difficult for us to accept as human beings, especially when it's so much easier to make an excuse and have everybody around us make it okay. And not very many people are walking into the boss's office saying, unacceptable. Why aren't you attending this? How are you going to hold your people and yourself accountable for a result when you don't know what you're looking for? You can't inspect what you expect unless you participate in the strategy, the goal, and the execution for the intended result. And it's a shame, but that's often why. The other thing is, people think, and I love it when people say this, I say that very sarcastically, Bobbie, I can't have 3 people out of the store to go to training. You can't afford not to. You're going to sell 2 cars that day, maybe 4. This is going to make it where you sell 10 more. You need to invest in the time. And most importantly, you need to empower the people that are working on your team and let go of control so that you can step out of a store and have some training, whether it's leadership, CRM, like it doesn't matter what it is, sales training. I absolutely will not take on a client for a sales effectiveness improvement or a training unless the owner, the executive managers are willing to sit in the room, participate. I will cancel the training and walk out. And if that makes me not the right fit for you, you're not the right fit for me. If you're not going to lead by example, we're not the right team.
That's a strong statement. You have to be willing to hold true to those values. I think that's
Yep.
fantastic. So, and that also answers the second part of that question, because one of the questions that was asked, or the tail end of that question was, well, why don't leaders allow their staff to go to those events? The inverse of it, and I think you answered it really well, is it's because, oh, well, we can't afford to, right? But I mean, you started off that way. So I'm going to move to my next question. I got two questions left for you, and we're just going to keep rolling. You're getting all kinds of love and stuff still on Facebook. I don't know if we're live on Facebook or not, but people are
We
certainly
must
watching
be.
on both on YouTube. So here we are. So one of the questions I ask everybody that comes on my show, and you've heard it asked on many shows, especially the leadership and kind of empowerment shows, self-help. If you could go back in time, Bobbie, and you could tell your teenage self this one tidbit of information that would change the whole world, and I don't ask that question. I was just teeing you up for it. I don't ask that question because we can't go back in time, but we can help improve the lives of the people that are watching this, that are following you, that are following my show and so forth. So what piece, one or two pieces of information, of advice that you might have given yourself, or something from now moving forward, someone that wants to move into a leadership role, if you were going to say, hey, you need to do this one thing or this two things, what piece of advice would you give those people to really, sorry, I transitioned that too quick,
That's okay.
to really move forward in their leadership opportunity in their career?
Yeah, so I'll give you two. One, listen to your mother. She's already done all this. She has the best intention. Stop
That's
rolling your eyes. I
strong.
have a teenager, so her two. Listen to your mom. That's important. She's on your side. But two is slow down. Don't take a job because it has a title that you want that you're not ready for. Because not only will you fail, but even if you felt like you succeeded, you won't be able to give it to your best. Too often people say, oh my gosh, I got offered this job and here's the title and I'm really thinking about taking it. And are you prepared for it? Because a fancy office and a title doesn't make you qualified and it doesn't make you happy. You have to be ready for things. Slow down a little bit and be okay with saying no when the timing is wrong and jump when the timing is right. Yeah, I think that's really important.
So you would say, listen to mom and slow down. And those are probably both pieces of advice you've given to your
Yes.
kids. I met your son, what, two weeks
Yes.
ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? And
Yeah,
I
two
could
weeks
see
ago.
you giving him that advice. So I'm going to ask
True.
this one. I'm going to ask this one of you also. Sometimes we don't make it to this part. Passion is a big deal, and I know you've probably kind of touched on this, and you've mentioned it kind of throughout the show here and there, and so it's okay if there's a little bit of a duplicate answer. But passion is a big deal in business. Passion is a big deal in life, and you hear people say, "Find your passion, and you'll be successful." How would you suggest that somebody go in search of their passion? How can they start to find their passion right now?
Yeah, so actually, I love this question because a couple of years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was looking at transitioning the position that I was in, and I had been talking to all these people and really considering it. And one very smart person told me something. She said, what do you want to do? And I said, everybody keeps asking me what I want to do. Tell me what the options are, and I'll tell you if I want to do them. And she said, that's not the way this works. And I was like, how do you figure that out? And this is what I followed since then. She said, I want you to go home and I want you to write down everything you would love to do in a week, not in a day, not in a month, in a week. What would make it worth it? What would make it worth the sacrifice? What would make you happy? What would make you challenged in the day? What do you want it to be? Make that list of things, look through it, and start there, because that's how you find what you're passionate about. It's what makes me smile in a day? What makes it worth the 30 hours of work that I might end up doing? What makes it worth the result? What makes me feel challenged? And everybody is different. That's the starting point. It sounds so simple, but it's so
Mm-hmm.
effective. I want to win in a day. I want it to be competitive. I want to be able to help other people. That's the truth. I want to analyze things. I also want to use my charm and charisma because it's fun. I want to get paid to make friends. That's what I do. Get paid to make friends. People only want to be my friend when they win, so it's perfect. But
Absolutely.
that challenge really helped me figure out what I was passionate about, because what it did is it made me start thinking about all the things that I had done that I loved and that I didn't love. And it made me start thinking about all the things that I thought that I wanted to potentially do, and if I would really enjoy them. And when I was done with that list, I went back to it the next day and I crossed off 50 things and added 10 more. And I did that every day for a week. And at the end, this is my job. And I'm super passionate about it. And I'm extremely happy. And I have been for years and years. It's not new, but I had that list all the time. I still have the original list that I used. And I hired a life coach actually when I went through my divorce and through a big job change with Garber. And when I lost a friend in hospice at that time, they say the biggest 3 things that can change you or put you off course are death, a change in your marital status or your home life, and in your career. And I went, ooh, I'm going to do all 3 of them in like a 5-week period. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Great idea, Bobbie. And I hired a life coach, Renee Stewart, actually, who is incredible. And people can say, oh, a life coach. That woman kept me grounded, and she made me go back to that list all the time. So I have the original, every update. It lives in a notebook. It's got stickers all over it because that's just, I like motivational stuff and stickers are all over it. But it helped me find my passion. And most of the time when we don't know what it is, we stumble upon it on accident. So if you happen to be one of those lucky people that stumbles upon it on accident, recognize it when you feel it. Because it feels so good and you can't duplicate that. That's what it should be centered around. And then create all the steps around there and follow that.
That is awesome. What a good way to take us out. Thank you so much, Bobbie. I cannot say enough how much I appreciate you taking the time to visit with me and the people that are watching. We did have some people stay. If you could see my room, I got like 4 screens all the way around so that I can check on who's watching and what's going on. Ryan Girardi says, hey, he's really glad your car's not moving. That was his biggest concern, is that your car's not moving. Yeah, thankfully. We couldn't even, Ryan, we couldn't even get the stream to be magical there for a little bit. We could not have a car moving. And so as we come to a close, Bobbie, how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way for people to reach out and contact you if they just want to be a friend, if they want to hire you, if they want to do any of that? What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So you can reach me on my cell at 989-672-9945. The best way is going to be by text. When I'm in a dealership, I take everybody's phones away, including mine. And that's why I'm in the car right now. I just left a leadership class at a dealership that I've been working with executive managers on. Yeah, that's what I've been doing all day. And so, sometimes you got to balance, and I like to wing it. But that's my cell phone number. My email is partnerwithbobbie@gmail.com. You can go on my Facebook page and add me. You can go on my business Facebook page. You can go on my Instagram. Or, you know what, honestly, if you don't remember any of that, go ahead and just Google me, because my number has been public for 14 years and it is all over the place.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bobbie. Again, I can't say thank you enough. I really appreciate you taking the time with me today. I really do. Anytime. And I'm going to go ahead and take us out now. So if you'll just hang out for me for 1 second. All right. So everybody, that brings us to a close for another live leadership lesson, or it's kind of like 2 in 1 because we did do 2 videos on this. So I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Do me a favor, and one of the things I always forget to ask at the beginning, if you're gaining something out of these episodes, give it a thumbs up, share this video or videos on your social media, because that is one way to get the word out about Bobbie and share this wealth of knowledge. It's just so awesome. And I will tell you what, until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely just fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.